Man removed hooks from shark's mouth. You won't believe how they return the favor. Most people are afraid to go near a shark when they see it. But despite its scary reputation, sharks are not interested in hunting humans. Not all sharks are vicious, and not all sharks are friendly. However, some sharks, like whale sharks, permit people to approach, touch, and swim with them. Sharks are more reclusive than friendly. Hence, their level of friendliness isn't very great. However, certain shark species like whale sharks, leopard sharks, and dogfish sharks are friendlier. Sharks prefer to be left alone, although occasionally they approach divers, nuzzle them, or even keep their mouths open as a sign of affection. These are all potential signs of a shark's friendly nature. And if a shark falls in love with a person, it'll return to them. There are several cases in which sharks return their favor after man removed hooks from their mouths. An Australian diver who adores the sea and its inhabitants has been a professional diving instructor for 27 years and runs a diving school near Nobis Beach. One day, 7 years ago, while he was swimming, he noticed an unknown creature swimming in front of him. But its posture was strangely twisted. Anderson swam forward, waved his flippers, and inquired about what was happening. The unknown creature was not his imagination of a new marine species, but a baby Australian female tiger shark. After seeing a human get close, the baby tiger shark instinctively wanted to swim away. But at this point, Anderson noticed something strange about the baby tiger shark: a large fishhook embedded deep within its tiny fin. Anderson ignored the baby tiger shark's resistance, took it in his arms, assisted in removing the fishhook, and released the baby tiger shark. He was surprised when the baby tiger shark did not swim away at once, but instead circled him several times to express gratitude for Anderson's kindness. This amused Anderson. The baby tiger shark did not flee but allowed Anderson to touch it very closely. After a while, the baby tiger shark became even bolder, allowing Anderson to hold it in his arms. As soon as Anderson went diving, he would pay a visit to the baby tiger shark, who would always arrive on time to interact with Anderson and hug him. Even if he had to move later, the tiger shark would return to him in the warmer months of the year. When the tiger shark saw Anderson, it opened its mouth wide and swam to Anderson. Anderson hopes to use the story of his encounter with the shark to dispel the label of sharks as vicious, to improve shark conservation, and encourage people to stop harming sharks to protect them. In the Bahamas, diver Christina Zanato approaches wild sharks, inserting her arm into their mouths and removing embedded hooks. In her interviews, she said that after watching the swollen jaws and watching them slam themselves in the sand trying to remove the hook, after seeing the shark's distress, she decided to do something. She decided to start removing the hooks. She added that it is the same way she removes a thorn from her dog's paw. Zanetto has been working with Caribbean reef sharks in the Bahamas for the past 25 years. She noticed that many sharks had fishhooks protruding from their mouths when she first started diving with them. She wanted to assist them because, as she says, it started like everything starts when you love someone. I just wanted to make their lives a little easier, to alleviate their suffering. One time she removed a hook from a Caribbean reef shark called Foggy Eye that still sticks with her. She never liked being touched, and she never approached, Zanetto explained. One day she appeared with a hook on her side, and as she was swimming by, I grabbed it, and it easily came out. She returned 3 days later with another. I couldn't see the hook because the lure was coming out of her mouth. I began working with her, and after a 30-minute dive, I shoved my arm down her mouth up to my elbow and pulled this hook out, and was proceeded to be slapped by her tail as she tried to get away from the mad woman sticking her arm halfway down her mouth. She's always enjoyed being petted since that day. She'll lean into me, climb into my lap, and let me pet her. It was a complete 180 degrees behavioral shift. Foggy Eye continued to appear whenever Zanetto went for a dive. She'd even swim up to Zanetto like a giant underwater dog. All of a sudden, I'd feel pressure on my hip, and I'd turn around and she'd be leaning into me and just stop swimming. Zanetto says she claims that after a while, she began to see new sharks she didn't recognize. Sharks from other areas had figured out that this was the place to go to get fishhooks removed. She now has a box with more than 300 hooks that she had removed from the sharks. Zanetto also stated that the hooks represent her life's work. I collect them one at a time, and collectively, they change people's perceptions of sharks as being sentient beings capable of feeling fear and pain. Shark conservationist Jim Abernethy has been best friends with tiger sharks for almost 20 years. Jim says that Emma, the shark, is like a big dog that wants love and affection constantly. She was like this from late 2001 when she first started showing up at Tiger Beach. And Jim's relationship with Emma has grown exponentially. He has already been able to remove 4 hooks, and the last time he was able to interact with Emma was in January 2020. He didn't realize that the pandemic would stop them from the meeting. He then says that he had no idea that sharks were affectionate creatures. Jim also had another encounter with a shark named Captain Ron, swam into the area with a hook through its jaw, and he thought he could gain the trust of the shark to remove the hook. The shark loved having his head rubbed, and within 2 hours he removed the hook. Removing the hook was a game-changer moment for Jim. Jim said, "The thought of reuniting with a wild animal with whom you've had a relationship for so long is heartwarming. We were in the Bahamas, and she didn't show up, but I was taking a break when someone screamed, 'Emma is here,' which woke me up. I'm down there and suddenly I see a tiger shark coming from the distance, and I knew it was Emma. The shark could tell the difference between boats, so she stopped there, and she was looking for her friend Jim. Jim then proceeded to get into the water and had a reunion with Emma. She was the same shark that he had known all the time. He then says how affectionate Emma is. Josh Eccles was a local diver who had been diving in Florida. Eccles has been diving for the past 5 years, and he dives almost 3 times a day. One day, Eccles went diving with his team and could tell something was not right. While in the Atlantic Ocean, a shark continuously tried to get his attention. It was strange for him that the shark was desperately trying to get his attention. A lemon shark, he says. They always bump into us, but they don't bump into us that frequently. This is how he knew something was wrong. He added that this female shark kept constantly bumping into me, and when she would lift her head, showing her stomach. It was not unusual to find lemon sharks when diving in the Jupiter waters. After the shark had continuously nudged Eccles, he realized something was going on when he decided to see what the shark was trying to show him. When Eccles looked close, he saw a huge hook sticking out of the shark's belly, and it filled its stomach. He tried to help by pulling out the hook. However, the first time he tried to help, the shark quickly swam away. Eventually, the shark swam back to Eccles. This time, he grabbed the shark by its head and pulled up so that he could get a better look. When he looked at it, it was a metal object. He could see it was a hook. However, he didn't know just how big it was. When he finally pulled it out, the hook was large. Eccles was shocked by the size of the hook. It was the size of my hand. Eccles and his friends had been filming the entire interaction when they captured something else amazing on camera. The shark swam up to him to give thanks. That's all we got today, guys. Also, don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe for more entertaining content. And we'll see you again soon.